Hey, Edgar here, the host of Snug Wrestling. Are you tired of your flimsy sunglasses that look just like everyone else's? Well, check out our friends from Aquila. These are handcrafted, limited run frames made in Los Angeles using recycled materials and built to last and look clean. They got UV protection, blue light options, and even prescription lenses. Plus, Aquila gives back 1% of every sale that goes to environmental causes. And because you listen to Snug Wrestling, you get 10% off with code SNUG at checkout. Just head to aquila.la and upgrade your eyewear responsibly. That's aquila.la, A-K-I-L-A.la. Save 10% off with promo code SNUG.
Hey, this is your Olympic hero, Kurt Angle, and you're listening to Snug Wrestling. Oh, it's true. It's damn true.
All right. Thank you for joining us here for another episode of Snug Wrestling with the Snug Wrestling Podcast for our Raw review for the February 16th episode while we are on the road to WrestleMania, but also on the road to the pit stop that is Elimination Chamber. And that will be exit 22826 being the last day of this month for that PLE. I am joined, as always, by this phenomenal crew of gentlemen. My name is Mr. Blood, the host of Monday Night Raw reviews, and I am joined by the founder, the leader of Snug Wrestling, Edgar, the always amazing and always charismatic Yeetmeister, Toxic, and our forever thespian and all-around good guy, Tommy. Gentlemen, please tell me, how are you doing today?
Today kind of was I don't know, it was just bad. But other than that, the show in my opinion was really good, and I'm glad to be back. I'm done with my break and done being a mental mess. So glad to be back.
Feeling good for the first half hour of the show. I was over here hanging out with a friend of mine. Made the worst mistake of my life, bringing hair ties with me. I'm going to save her from commenting that. No, I will not be showing y'all the back. But if y'all want to know what a good bun looks like, look at Mr. Blood. Do not look at this rat nest that's on top of my damn head. And again, the back is absolutely horrendous. Not showing y'all that. But I actually liked the show pretty much. Yes, obviously, had some ups. Had some slight downs, but I actually liked the show.
I'd say, Tommy, you're stuck somewhere between a Brock Lesnar top knot and a hipster. But yeah, and Mr. Blood's hair goes down to his collarbone. You don't worry, you'll figure out a good bun for yourself. Edgar, our fearless leader, my man, the myth, the Mexican legend. Tell us how you are doing today.
What's good, fellas? Man, I'm doing good, bro. It's lovely Monday. It's a holiday today. I don't remember what holiday it is today, so I was off. I had a 3-day weekend. Had a dope weekend. Was looking forward to Monday Night Raw and meeting with you guys to go over it. So I'm pumped, man. Everything's good.
I'm doing good myself. Today, I took my mom and my aunt out to celebrate a late birthday lunch for my mom. Took them all out to Hibachi with my wife. Of course, when I was supposed to take my mom out a couple weeks ago, you guys know I had my vertigo hit again. But I'm having a great day this morning at 8 o'clock. I went all the way down and picked my laptop out of the shop. For those of you who don't know, I have not had access to my laptop in about 2.5 months, so I finally got it back. Then spent half the show breaking back into the computer because it was stuck in recovery mode, thanks Apple, and had to hard reset the entire computer and then get all my savings, all my settings, all my logins to about 20 different sites and accounts all back in while the show was going on. But I'm in a great mood. My audio's back in that beautiful fucking resolution. And let's get into the show. So Raw kicked off with what we thought was going to be the Usos opening for either a match or some kind of segment. They are immediately cut off by The Vision with Paul Heyman screaming, "Cut the music, cut the music." So they demand that Adam Pearce put Bronson Reed in the chamber to make up for the farce of the Masked Man costing Austin Theory last week. Now, of course, you know how Adam Pearce is. He's going, "No, I'm not going to give you a handout, but I will give you an opportunity. And I'm going to give you guys an opportunity right now against basically the Usos and LA Knight in a 6-man tag, because LA Knight did come out and start talking shit all over the division, left, right, and center, challenging them all to a 6-man tag, which Adam Pearce agreed to, and we kicked off the first match with this opening segment. Now, personally, I don't think it was a monumental opener. It's kind of feels a lot of the same a bit, but it's nice to have LA Knight out there. It's nice to see Adam Pearce still sticking to his guns, although be it within the rules of his position as Monday Night Raw general manager, and still finding a way within the rules to screw the Vision over left, right, and center and not let them get their way. But guys, what did you think of this opening promo segment before we move on into the match?
As soon as I heard the knockoff wannabe penguin, and I'm talking about the one from Batman, as soon as I heard his voice, I was like, oh, fucking God, just what I need. Just what I need. I need the Vision out here. No, I don't. But I was kind of upset because I wanted to see what the Usos had to do or say or whatever they had to do. But I mean, it kind of made sense why they interrupted, because I mean, they're pissed and shit. Yeah. So it was all right. The match itself was okay.
Yeah, and it also feels really good to have good old LA Knight back as well. Yes, he was here last week and all of that, but after what he had to deal with the Vision, and they brought it up multiple times of the Vision putting him through the car. Logan definitely brought it up, but still, it feels good to know the fact that, isn't he in the chamber? Yeah, LA Knight is in the chamber. We've got that going. Boy, am I hoping that Bronson Reed wins his qualifying match next week and gets himself in the chamber as well. I hope that happens. But hopefully LA Knight gets his hands on Big Bronson Reed, the man who tsunami'd him through that car. This was a pretty good promo, honestly.
Yeah, it started off pretty good. But then after a while, it kind of felt like it was just dragging, and I was just like waiting for them to get to the point and just get to whatever match that we're going to set up, right? And it's crazy to say because it's the Vision, it's Paul Heyman, it's LA Knight, you know, Adam Pearce was out there, the Usos were out there, and it just felt like, oh man, like it overstayed its welcome, this opening segment for me, because at first, okay, we get the Usos, they're coming out yeeting, they get interrupted by the Vision, and I'm thinking, okay, we're going to get a tag team match, cool, the Usos versus the Vision, that's going to be a dope match, right? But then out comes Adam Pearce, and then Adam Pearce is like, all right, everyone get out of the ring and let's go to my office and let's talk about this like gentlemen. And I was like, talk about this? Like, I thought are we not gonna have a match here? What the hell is what's happening here? You guys want to go to the back and talk about it? No, I don't want to see that. I want to see someone get in a fight or start a match or something. It took like 10 minutes to get to the match, right? But I guess, I mean, I should be used to that by now. It's WWE, right? That's how they do things, apparently. But then LA Knight comes out, and then I'm just like, okay, what is going on here? And then finally, LA Knight was like, well, the Usos are out here. The Vision is out here. Let's have a 6-man tag team match. And I'm like, well, fuck, finally. But other than that, yeah, it was a good way to kick off Monday Night Raw with the Vision, LA Knight, the Usos, a star-studded segment.
You know, I'm of the same piece of mind that you are. It drug on a little bit for me because, you know, we were about halfway through the segment and I completely forgot the Usos actually started the show. I completely forgotten they were there. But yes, I digress. I think that, okay, well, we got some action out of this. The segment served a purpose. It also served the purpose of getting Bronson Reed into a qualifier for next week so he can try to get into the chamber, which I assume he's going to do because it is a triple threat, no disqualification. That means Vision run in, and they're going to make sure he gets that win. But that means we'll probably see the Usos and or LA Knight come in to screw him as much as possible. Now, again, as we said, this segment led to the first match of the night, the Usos and LA Knight versus the Vision. Now, this match to me personally was a pretty decent opener. I thought it had some really good moments. I felt like it was also moving a little too slow in places for my taste. I felt like they stopped and started their momentum 2 or 3 times, and there was a point where I was like, are we getting to the finish? Are we getting to the finish? But when it comes down to it, the Vision got the win with what I think is great, because what happened here specifically was Logan Paul was talking shit on commentary after the match we're going to get into. But what led to him doing so was Bronson Reed getting the pin himself. He actually winds up hitting a tsunami off of a Logan Paul one lucky punch on Jimmy Uso, because Jey Uso got taken out of the ring. Now, this leads to Logan Paul talking all this shit on the announcer. He takes, I believe it was Michael Cole's headset, and while he's talking into the monitor and everything, a masked man curb stomps his head straight onto the table. Now, I will say this right here was the moment where I thought, oh, that's Seth Rollins, because there was something about the body type, the language, his hands looked familiar, if that makes sense. And then when he hopped off the table, it was the way he jumped off the table. It reminded me of the way that Seth Rollins' body moves. Pause. I don't mean that in a weird way. I mean that we watch these people perform week in and week out for years. You can tell someone's walk, their cadence, the way that their feet move, the way that their legs, just there's something about Seth, especially with the way that he's had his knee repaired several times. He walks a certain way. One of his legs always turns slightly inward when he takes a step forward because he's nursing the knee. And the way that this guy moved and then hopped over the barricade, it just felt like Seth's physical presence. So I think he might be back. But at the end of the day, this basically was the entire opener with the angle of the masked man stomping, but Bronson Reed did get the win. I think it was a smart decision, guys, to keep the Vision strong over the tag champs. You don't want the Vision losing momentum, right? You don't want them feeling weak, right? Especially with the loss currently of Braun Breaker. So to give them a win back, especially over champions, I think was a smart move. But what did you guys think?
Yeah. At first I was like, well, why did you do that? But I mean, it made sense over time, as Blood said, that I mean, Bronson got the win. Okay, great. And then we get into the masked man attacking, which I fully agree that it is Seth Rollins, but a part of me thinks that it is not Seth because of the way that he ran towards like the exit part of the arena. That to me, like, okay, that could be Seth, but I'm not sure if that's Seth or not. But as far as I know, my only guess is Seth. I see a bunch of people saying Grayson Waller online, but I just don't see them doing that. But yeah, I digress.
Yeah, the reports were that apparently it was Grayson Waller. But after tonight, I'm with you, boys. It has to be Seth freaking Rollins. Plain and simple. It just has to. But when it comes to the match itself, I find it very interesting that they decided to pin Jimmy. Like, why are you pinning your champion? But then again, it made me think, wait, it's a possibility that maybe they're trying to set up at some point the Vision going after that tag. Probably with Bronson Reed probably being one of them, or maybe it's Logan Paul and Austin. But still, I have this feeling like the reason why they did that is not only to keep the Vision strong, but that later on down the line, maybe sooner rather than later, a little bit after the Chamber maybe, we might get a tag match for those titles, as Jimmy would probably be pissed off about getting tsunami'd and screwed over.
Yeah, I would love to see that. I mean, I thought we were going to see it tonight, but I guess we're going to have to wait for that. That could be a reason why Jimmy took the pin. It could be because LA Knight is going into the Chamber, and I don't think they want to beat LA Knight if he's going to be, a major threat in that Chamber, or at least come off that way, But I did love this this opening match because this could have easily been the main event of Monday Night Raw. The Usos, tag team champions, LA Knight versus the Vision, who we're used to seeing in the main event anyway. So I thought, wow, what a great way to kick off Monday Night Raw with this match. It was a great match, and the finish was even better. You know, you kind of expected the Masked Man to run in, but they waited until after the match was already done. You know, so it was kind of like, oh shit, the match is over. The guy didn't show up. What the fuck? All right. But he shows up anyway. And maybe because of all the reports that I've been seeing that, you know, it could be Grayson Waller. I had that idea stuck in my head that to me it looked more like Grayson Waller tonight. And I'm not saying that they're gonna add Grayson Waller to the story, but maybe they're putting him under the hood just to throw the people off, to get them talking like we are. You know, some of us think it's
he's just like a physical match to Seth on screen, because maybe Seth's not fully ready yet, so they need someone who just kind of has a similar body type to him to fill the costume in his absence. That's possible too.
Yeah, and that guy tonight that we saw tonight, he looked a little bit, and this is just me, you know, to me he looked a little bit too tall to be Seth Rollins. But I think eventually down the line, once they reveal who it is, it's going to be Seth Rollins anyway. So yeah, dude, I thought this whole thing, man, was great. And the fact that Bronson Reed got the pin as well. Yeah, man, I give this a 10 out of 10 for opening segment of Monday Night Raw, or opening match, I should say.
Absolutely. Bronson needs that win. The Vision needs that win, but Bronson was the number 2 to Braun Breaker. So if Braun Breaker's out, it needs to be on Bronson to be built as the guy who is reliable in his absence, as someone who can lead that faction forward. I think it makes a lot of sense. It's important to do that. You can't just forget about Bronson Reed as if he wasn't there from the beginning of the Vision being brought together in the first place. All right, moving on to a small segment backstage. Give me your quick thoughts on this, guys. Adam Pearce had a segment where a mysterious large human-sized crate was backstage that said to be delivered to WWE, but not to be opened until the 28th of February, which is Elimination Chamber, just in a couple of weeks. What do you guys think the crate is? Adam Pearce did say, put it back on the truck and send it to Friday Night SmackDown. It'll be Nick Aldis's problem. But I'm wondering if whoever's in that crate, it might be Seth returning in that crate. My thought is that maybe he's coming out of it, or maybe it is, and hear me out here, maybe Chris Jericho. If the contract dispute was all bullshit and his contract really has lapsed from AEW. But give me your quick thoughts on this, gentlemen.
Yeah, I would like it to be either Seth or Jericho, because I have a feeling that it's either a return or a debut, or it's something like that. Like someone is in there that hasn't either been on TV, on WWE TV for a while, or they are new to WWE TV. Other people that I would like to, I mean, and this is just for trolls, but what if it's Cena? That would just be funny, but it's obviously not. He's done, but I mean, it would just it's just a thought. It would be funny if he did that, which I don't see him doing that, but I think it's more than likely either Seth or Jericho.
Oh yeah, shout out to my buddy William. Him and I were texting during the show and all of that, and during this segment, he messages me and just going, "What are the odds that that's Chris Jericho in that box for Chamber?" Yes, please bring this man back, please. Like, imagine how it would be either hearing that countdown start or we start hearing Judas. It's like, I would love for Chris Jericho to return at the Elimination Chamber through that box. I feel like that the odds are more on maybe Seth because of the whole masked man thing right now. But at the same time, I would love for Chris Jericho to come back through that, and imagine how massive that pop would be in Chicago if Chris Jericho decided to return at the Elimination.
It's going to be interesting, man, because, you know, I've heard this saying in wrestling a lot where it's like, oh, anything or anyone that comes out of a box automatically gets over. But I mean, it could be anybody, dude. It could be Jericho. How long has Naomi been out? Is she getting closer to return?
Oh, I doubt it. I mean, aside from the fact that I don't even know if she gave birth yet, but when it
Okay.
comes down to it, even if she had given birth, postpartum is a bitch. She'd need at least another couple of months to settle into being a mom, then get into a routine, a regimen. I don't see her coming back till fucking end of this year or Royal Rumble next year on. She's got
All
to
right.
settle into it.
Yeah, it makes sense. I was just wondering. Because that's one of the things that came to mind because of her proceed with caution and all the tape, the yellow tape that she uses. I don't know why I thought of that when I saw that box. It could be Bianca. We've been talking about that happening. But yeah, it's interesting, man. Something else to look forward to when it comes to
Here's a quick left field idea. It's Braun Breaker. And the reports of him having to be out longer were exaggerated on purpose for that whole Unreal thing, because I noticed how the crates delivered in a segment revolving around Adam Pearce. Who does Adam Pearce have a problem with? Who does Braun Breaker have a problem with? Adam Pearce and him, vice versa. I think it'd be kind of funny at Chamber, since he got left out, he got screwed out of the Rumble. Maybe there's somewhere in the Chamber that crate opens and it winds up being him. It would be dumb if it was something stupid like Mr. Iguana popped out. But when it comes down to it, I am excited. We do not have that much longer to wait. All right, gentlemen, moving on to the second match of the night. This was an Elimination Chamber qualifier for the Women's Elimination Chamber match. Natty versus Asuka versus Bayley. Now, Asuka actually wound up winning. This shocked the shit out of me that Asuka won, but she won by tapping out Bayley. When was the last time we saw Bayley tap out? That's what's crazy to me. And now the qualifiers so far in the Chamber are Tiffany Stratton, Rhea Ripley, Alexa Bliss, and now Asuka are all in the Chamber with 2 spots left, which will be filled between this upcoming SmackDown and next Monday Night Raw. But when it came down to it, I thought the match was a pretty decent match. I thought it was all right. Didn't exactly overstay its welcome. I got to be honest, I'm not into any of the Natty stuff at all. I think she's trying too hard to be serious and tough. I think her promos are kind of cringy, especially in the video package before the match. I think the best thing about this repackage of her is her new entrance theme. Other than that, I'm just not on board with it. Bayley, I think Bayley tapping out to Asuka is something that's going to raise a lot of hell online with the IWC, the people who massive Bayley supporters who are going to feel like she's constantly getting the short end of the stick and not getting opportunities and that she's being completely undervalued. And I can see this match being something that feeds into the Bayley should go to AEW, stuff that we see online. But Asuka getting the win, I think, is a big important thing. And I'm actually happy Asuka got it, because when I think about it, Bayley had a lot of opportunities last year. Tag gold opportunities, women's IC title opportunities, tournament opportunities, world championship opportunities. I think it's totally fine that Asuka actually gets the win, because if we're trying to remind people just how much of a credible threat Asuka is, having her win a qualifier like this and putting her in the Chamber, I think speaks volumes to them trying to put in the work to rehabilitate her character. But as far as it goes, I think the right winner won. But gentlemen, what did you think of this match? And what do you think of Asuka qualifying for the Chamber?
I had Bayley winning this match mainly because, they're not going to put Natty in there, or Natalia, or whatever the hell you want to call her. And I completely agree that the only good thing about Natty is her theme. That's just literally the only thing that I find remotely interesting. But enough of that. But I had Bayley winning this match mainly because, she didn't blah, blah. She usually almost always gets the short end, and like you get what I'm saying, right? But I don't know. After a little while after the match, I'm like, okay, that actually kind of makes sense why they had Asuka win, because Rhea's in there, and if you want to do that shit again, but I don't think you do. But yeah, Asuka felt like the right winner to me eventually, but not right then and there.
Yeah, I thought this was a foregone conclusion for Asuka. I really did. Because Bayley, okay, she's fine. Yes. They love giving her the fucking short end of the stick. They really do. But she is not there yet. She still needs to get back up to that. Plus, as Blood said, she has had numerous opportunities for titles, not to mention going up against Sol Ruka at Cena's final match. That was another thing. So there's that big thing there. So my biggest thing was I thought that Asuka was just a foregone conclusion because of Rhea being in the chamber. No, I don't think they're going back to that, but those two still have problems right now. So that was my main reason why I thought Asuka, is because of the fact that Rhea's already in there. Maybe Io gets in there as well. I believe she has one this Friday. But still, just Rhea being in there made it so clear to me that Asuka was going through the moment this match was.
Yeah, this was one of the matches that whoever won, I would be okay with, because all three of these women are veterans. All three of these women, I feel like, deserve it, despite, you know, how you guys feel about Natty, right? Again, another triple threat match, another qualifying match, but we got three veterans in the ring. All are amazing at what they do. So I was hooked, man. I was interested to see how this thing was going to go. And it started off really good because we finally got to see Natty in the ring with someone that can actually keep up with her. I feel like Bayley or Asuka are two good, very good competitors for this new Natty gimmick that can make Natty look good and highlight her strengths as like a badass and in a legit wrestler, fighter, whatever you want to call it. Asuka and Natty were like beating each other up for real at some point during this match a few times. Bayley too. So I like the physicality here, but again, after a while, because it's a triple threat match, man, it just feels like a lot of the things that they were trying to do was a little bit too much. It's a really long match, and I was just like, okay, let's just get to it, you know? But yeah, it kind of felt like it overstayed its welcome a little bit. Asuka won. I'm not mad at that. I'm glad we got to see Natty. Bayley didn't win again, but I mean, this was a triple threat match. This doesn't really look bad on Bayley because I don't even think she was the one that ate the pin. I don't remember.
She got
She tapped out.
Oh, she tapped out. Okay.
Yeah, that's what surprised us was when was the last time we've ever seen Bayley tap out? Like, she almost never taps out. That was a big deal for me, at least. I was like, whoa, you had her tap? You know?
Yeah, that's crazy. I mean, of all people, Bayley, huh? I guess they're trying to protect Natty, maybe. Who knows? But yeah, man, this match was a lot better than I expected, to be honest.
Alrighty.
That they're trying to protect Natty, knowing the fact that what we all forgot to mention, including me, is the fact that Natalya got attacked after this match by Maxine Dupree.
Yes, she had jumped on the stage, but it wasn't that big of a moment, so I didn't really mention it. Though I do love my girl Maxine. All right, let's move on to what I thought I was gonna hate. I thought this was gonna be the segment of the show I did not like. This is the Liv Morgan segment where she had a sit-down interview with Michael Cole, and she gets joined by Dominic Mysterio. But I'm going to tell you why this segment went from being okay to fucking awesome. Because we have Stephanie Vicaire interrupt Liv Morgan's sit-down interview, right, with Michael Cole. Now, she starts berating Liv in Spanish. And we have Dom, who finally starts translating for us to Liv, although he's whispering it, which is aggravating as fuck. Why can't you say what she's saying a little louder or out loud? But whatever she said really got under Liv's skin. And I know what she said, because what made this segment better for me wasn't while the segment was live. It was when I got the translation from someone, a friend of the channel's actually, our guy, the JC Cruz, who actually fucking posted the translation of what Stephanie Vicaire said to Liv Morgan. And I quote, "You said 10 years of hard work. You're talking about hard work. What the fuck are you talking about, Liv? You haven't sacrificed anything. WWE has only handed you everything from the moment you started here. You have better medics, better trainers. You were handed everything. You want to talk about sacrifice? I was born in Chile, where pro wrestling didn't exist. I competed in Japan, Latin America, in Europe. I conquered everything. I should embarrass you for hiding behind the Judgment Day, for hiding behind him, Dom. I will tell you something. I went through hell and I made it mine, only to go to WWE, and this title is for all the girls, all the women who never had the opportunity. If you come after me, you won't win, because I will show you what a real champion is. Now, that for me was something that, though I was annoyed we didn't get to hear her say that actually on camera, when she said it to her live, though, the emotion that I got from Stephanie Vaquer felt genuine. She meant every word of what she was saying, and you felt it. She was intense. She was looking her in the eye. She never broke eye contact. And what I loved was Liv's reaction. Everything Dom was whispering and translating, Liv it dug deeper and deeper and deeper until Liv, for one of the first times ever on screen, dropped that facade of, oh, Miss Cute Hot It Girl, and we saw the insecurity. We saw the doubt. We saw how it felt for her to get cut down to size, because she knows what Stephanie Vaquer is saying is partially, if not mostly, true. And I loved that. I just wish we could have heard that in English live and did not have to wait for a translation online 10 minutes later. But it did amplify the segment for me. Gentlemen, please tell me, what were your thoughts on this segment? Liv storms off in tears because Stephanie truly got under her skin.
I'm in the same boat as Blood. I mean, I thought that this was going to be, oh my God, we're just going to get another teaser. I mean, Liv's not even going to tell us who she's going after. I mean, usually that's one of the first things that happens. But I guess that part's okay, because she ended up not revealing who she's going after, which I think the answer is more as clear to who. But I really wish that, you know how when they do like Io or Oscar or Shinsuke backstage things, I wish they would have like the subtitles of the translations, so that we people, as in people that don't speak Spanish, which I'm taking Spanish, so that's weird. But anyways, you get the point. So that people that don't speak Spanish knew what she was saying, and just bleh. This segment grew onto me. I was, why are we doing this? She's not gonna tell us who. But then it grew onto me. I'm repeating myself.
Yeah, now that we have that translation, my mind goes to one thing. When Stephanie Vaquer says that Liv was handed everything and everything else, and that she's going to show Liv what a real champion looks like, it made me think back to what Stephanie Vaquer posted a couple of days ago. She posted a picture of her a year ago when she was on NXT and had just won the North American title. That was exactly a year ago, just a couple of days ago. So that in itself is massive, because her winning that also led to her becoming double champion not too far after, with the NXT Women's Championship as well. And then being called up to her now being the World Heavyweight Champion. So that in itself really, really stuck out to me, because of the fact that a year ago, she was in developmental with a mid-card title. And now, a year later, she is on the main roster with their world title on her shoulder. It just shows how much better she's actually getting through all of this, just from back then to now, a year later.
Yeah, and I enjoyed this segment, even though it was a little weird for me for so many reasons, right? I mean, okay. You know, the whole Spanish thing, I'm lucky enough. I understand what Stephanie Vaquer is saying, but I'm starting to feel like they're doing more and more Spanish stuff because of AAA and all like the Mexicans and everyone else that's watching in. They're doing a lot of stuff for them, I feel like, which is cool, you know. So it was funny to hear Don Mysterio translating and everything because we were complaining about that last week, and then this week he's actually doing it. But this was weird to me because Stephanie Vaquer kind of came off as a bitch. It's weird because she's supposed to be the babyface in this situation, but the babyface came off as the bully here, who made the heel Liv Morgan cry after all the mean words she said to Liv Morgan. So that part was weird to me. And also it was what she said. Stephanie Vaquer, yes, she has a crazy story. Growing up in Chile, her dream was to be in the WWE, and she did all this hard work. She finally got there. She's the world champion. But I mean, most fans know Liv Morgan's story too. You know how she used to be a waitress at Hooters. She got an opportunity to be in the WWE, and not, all that history that Liv Morgan has. And then just recently, her injury that, Liv Morgan was out for months and months, and Liv Morgan has sacrificed a lot. Yeah. I mean, that's no secret there. So for Stephanie Vaquer to come show up, first of all, does Michael Cole ever have an interview with anyone, just a one-on-one without being interrupted? Like, what the fuck? So yeah, I
mean, Liv had a tough upbringing too. She had a very rough childhood, they come from separate worlds, but they have very similar paths.
So for Stephanie Vaquer, I get what they're trying to do, right? But for Stephanie Vaquer to sit there and be like, you haven't sacrificed nothing. You don't know nothing about sacrifice, Liv. It's like, bro, have you not been watching the show? Like, do you not like, all right. But yeah, other than that, it was funny.
Liv Morgan ate plates of fucking shit for a couple years before she finally got an actual shot in the main event. That was the one part of Stephanie's promo I disagree with. I was like, whoa. Liv has sacrificed. I mean, she did all this on a gamble at Hooters when the manager at Hooters, I believe, was Enzo Amore, who wound up getting her the tryout spot. But Liv grew up in a very, very rough home. She just had a whole interview with Stephanie McMahon on her podcast and opened up about her actual upbringing. She cried on that podcast talking about, how her life was as a kid. And it's like, so when I see a promo like this and I get that translation, it's like hard for me to believe that part of the promo from Stephanie Vaquer, because I'm like, well, the fans who know about her childhood and upbringing, which is a lot of fans now because it's public, they're looking at that like, well, hold on. I connect with Liv because I had a hard upbringing, or I relate to that struggle that Liv went through. What do you mean she didn't sacrifice? Her entire childhood was her sacrificing just being a kid, just to survive her growing up in the household that she grew up in, and she took a gamble to become a pro wrestler. She put in the work. She sacrificed her time. She took a chance on herself, and it paid off, but it took years to get that payoff, So I'm hoping this also puts a little bit of sympathy on Liv, because, I love a great heel, right? But I love a heel that their struggle makes sense to me as to why they are the way they are. What turned Liv the way she was being betrayed by Rhea, being left alone, being screwed over and looked over time and time again, until finally she decided to take her career by the fucking horns and guide it down the path she believed it needed to go down. So I'm hoping that this leads to some more really good promo segments between these two that get more personal. They're going
to turn Stephanie heel?
No, not at all. But I definitely think they could, if they do this right, they can get sympathy on Liv too. Because I want sympathy on my babyface, but I want sympathy on my heel too. I want to understand my heel's reasoning, their agenda. I don't just want it to be the big bad guy of the week. I want to know why you are the way you are, why you're acting the way you are. Tell it like it is. Stop being the prissy hot girl. Break through the facade and tell me what you really feel. Because then I'm going to go into WrestleMania going, man, now I don't know who I want to win. Because this division was sorely missing Liv Morgan for 7 months, for a reason, because we were connecting with her, because she was over with us, because we felt like we understood her reasons, even though we didn't like them. She's relatable. She was bullied, and she's the bully that became the bully. And I like where this is going. I really do. But moving on to my GOAT, the best in the world, CM Punk came out tonight, and I pop huge every time I hear Cult of Personality. Now, he comes out and he talks about, oh, well, everybody's mad at me, right? The execs are mad. They think I'm putting the main event of WrestleMania against Roman Reigns in jeopardy by giving Finn Balor this opportunity at Elimination Chamber for this championship, because a month ago in Belfast, I believed he earned an opportunity for who he was. Now he doesn't deserve an opportunity. He earned an ass beating, and that's why I gave it to him. This brings out Finn Balor to what popped me huge. They have officially given Finn Balor back his old entrance music for his singles intros. We officially have it back. He's officially doing the motions with the lights now. It's awesome. I'm glad they got rid of that remixed Judgment Day version that he had, because if you're trying to build him into a more serious, credible main event threat again, you need to have him stand on his own away from the Judgment Day sometimes. Now, we got a little surprise here, because not only did Dominic Mysterio accompany him out to face CM Punk, we had a returning JD McDonough, whom we thought was going to be on the shelf a lot longer. Now, they circle the ring. Finn makes it clear, we're not out here to attack you. Finn says, look, you call yourself the best in the world, but to be the best in the world, you have got to work with the best shoot-catch wrestlers in Europe. You've got to work in the best dojos in Japan. Learn from the best luchadors in Mexico. That's what I did. The best in the world is standing right in front of you, and it's me. And what I love is that Punk goes, I have respect for who you are. Oh, I misspoke. Who you were. Who you are now is a shell of your former self. He basically calls Finn pathetic and says that the Judgment Day is a fucking anchor around Finn's neck, and that he will never get back to the glory of who he's supposed to be until he drops the dead weight. Now, what I love is Punk goads Finn and says, look, I'll turn around. You want to prove that you can do this on your own? I'll let you attack me from behind, jump me, because I know that you're going to do it because you've got your friends with you. Now, what I love is that, obviously, we're not going to talk about that segment, so I'm going to mention it now. Finn later tells them in the clubhouse, look, I want to do this on my own to prove to myself that I can do this by myself, which upsets JD, and he storms off, and Finn storms off, leaving Dominic alone during the main event. But, gentlemen, what did you think about this promo exchange? I thought this moved in the right direction, because there's a huge part of me that really does want to see Finn beat Punk at Elimination Chamber. As much as I love Punk, I would love to see Finn beat Punk and then Punk get it back somewhere down the line to Mania right before. Or, and I know you'll hate this one, Edgar, it turned into a triple threat for the title at WrestleMania. Honestly, Finn versus Roman versus Punk is a match that I would absolutely watch. But gentlemen, what did you think of this promo segment?
Well, I was going to save it for Elimination Chamber predictions, but since Mr. Blood just brought up the thing that I really want to happen, I think this is the whole reason why they are doing the Finn Balor stuff with CM Punk right now. But that is the reason that they are doing this whole Finn Balor stuff, is so that they could throw him in there with Punk and Roman. The segment, not really too fond of. I didn't really care for it. It had its ups, it had its more downs than ups, but it was all right. No complaints about it, and no positive things that I want to add.
Hey, at least if this becomes a triple threat, it makes more sense than last year's with the women's. That was just randomly went, hey, I'm pissed off. I lost the title before Mania. I won in that match. Make it a triple threat. At least that would make a whole lot more sense. Because at least there's way more of a build to it besides, hey, I just lost my women's world title to Io Sky. I want it being a triple threat now. So if this is where Finn Balor is going to go, and if that is how big this is going to be, in that triple threat, I want Balor to win it. I really do. I feel like WrestleMania on the grandest stage of them all would be one of the best spots to give Finn Balor the entry of yet another world title run. Especially since, like I said before, Balor has not had a world title run like he did with the Universal since he was the inaugural Universal Champion, in which he held it for less than 24 hours. So if this does become a triple threat, that's what I want. I want Finn Balor to win the World Heavyweight Champion at WrestleMania and hold it for a while, since he absolutely needs vindication for the world title run that he could have had with that Universal.
That's funny that you guys mentioned that, because we actually talked about that last night on Snug en Espanol, the Spanish show that we do with Eric Padilla from the SDM podcast. So I'm not going to talk too much about that now. I'd rather save that for Elimination Chamber predictions. But when it comes to this segment between CM Punk and Finn Balor, I'm so glad CM Punk is World Heavyweight Champion, because CM Punk said it right, man. He said he just makes things better. And I agree with that 100%, because if CM Punk was not World Heavyweight Champion, I don't think we see the matches that we're getting here. I don't think we see Finn Balor in the World Heavyweight title picture. I have this feeling that CM Punk has a lot to say in who he wants to wrestle, who he wants to defend that World Heavyweight Championship against. And I think CM Punk is handpicking these people like Finn Balor, like AJ Styles, like Braun Breaker, like I think it was Jey Uso, and all these people that CM Punk has defended the title against. That's fucking lovely, man. I love to see it. It's cool to see JD Madonna back. I'm excited for this match, man, at the Elimination Chamber, bro. I can't wait to see it, and definitely can't wait to talk about it with you guys, I believe, next week.
Yeah, absolutely excited for this too, because you're right. With that World Heavyweight Championship is the workhorse world title for a reason. People need to understand there are two world titles. That undisputed championship is considered a world title. I actually had to look it up to confirm. It is considered a world champion. So when you have both, and you have one guy who's had 4 title defenses inside of a month and a half, CM Punk has defended that championship. And then you look at someone like Jade Cargill, who's had one within 107 days. Dom, who's been champ again for about 76 to 79 days, and yet still has not had another match to defend it. And then you look around and you're like, okay, well,
Dom's been injured.
Well, Dom was injured. Yes, that's fair. But that's not against him. What I'm saying is, when you look at the championships you have lying around and you look at what's being defended the most, it's either going to be the women's tag titles or it's going to be that World Heavyweight Championship around Punk's waist. And on the main roster, at least, those two titles are getting the most love next to Carmelo Hayes' United States title, but those are open challenges. So it's just kind of crazy when you look at the fact that the IC title is supposed to be the workhorse mid-card, but the US title is the one getting defended the most. You have the main championship, which is supposed to be the undisputed championship, but the one that has the most spotlight, the biggest star power behind it, is that, and of which is the World Heavyweight Championship around Punk's. I just thought it's an interesting how some of these dynamics have begun to shift with these matches. And I love that Punk is a fighting champ. Say what you will about him, folks. You may not like him, but at least he's giving you great shit. Penta versus El Grande Americano was our 4th match of the night. This was actually a surprise number 1 contendership match that came out of nowhere for Dominic's Intercontinental Championship. Now, this happened because backstage early in the show, El Grande Americano, a la Ludwig Kaiser, goes to Adam Pearce and says, hey, I want to be in a chamber qualifier. Well, Adam Pearce says, well, that's too bad. We don't have any spots for the chamber. All the qualifying matches have already been set in stone. He goes, well, then I want a match for the IC title. Well, everybody wants a match for the IC title. Dom just came back. You think you're the only one, but I'll tell you what, I'm not just going to give you the title opportunity there, Ludwig or El Grande. I will give you a chance to have an opportunity when you and Penta go one-on-one for the number 1 contendership, and then that will lead to an IC championship match down the road against Dom. However, This is the annoying part. They didn't tell us when that match would take place for whomever is the number one contender. We don't know if it would be at the Chamber. We don't know if it's going to be down the road at Mania. We don't know if it's going to be on a random Monday Night Raw, because WWE's planning as of late has not been that great. A lot of these matches that have been happening on the free TVs and everything is because they don't know how to fill up the slots at the PLEs, because they want to put all these other stories on there. And then they're just having random tag team championship matches, random mid-card title championship matches on Monday Night Raw and SmackDown. So we got to sit here. We have this match. It's a great fucking match for the most part, I thought. Penta gets the win. He becomes the Intercontinental Champion's number one contender. However, I heard Michael Cole after the match say, and Penta is going to be facing Dominic Mysterio for the Intercontinental Championship somewhere down the line. And I was like, oh, come on, bro. Like, it's just aggravating to me. I don't know why we can't get set in stone. Go ahead, Edgar.
So was this match actually announced as a number one contendership match? Okay.
Yes. I wasn't sure either until midway through the match when they said it. And then at the very end, he goes, Penta is now the number one contender for Dominic Mysterio's Intercontinental Championship, and they'll have a match somewhere down the line in the near future. And I'm like, motherfucker, a month from now is the near future. Like, so I just wish that we could get more set in stone planning with WWE. This is where a lot of, the wrestling fans' complaints, I feel, are valid, where it doesn't feel like WWE, as much as they like to tout that they are long-term storytellers, often it feels like they do not have this shit planned even a week in advance for some of this.
This would be like Penta's like 6th IC title shot at this point.
I know at this point, I'd love to see him just go one-on-one with Punk for the World Heavyweight Championship. But gentlemen, please tell me your thoughts on this match.
I thought it was great having the surprise, because we didn't know who El Grande was going against. We just know that, hey, you get a number one contendership match for Dom's title. And we never found out who until the match actually happened. I'm so glad it was Penta that won this, because if you ask me, it is time for someone to take that title off of Dom. Because, I mean, yes, he's been injured, which that is nothing against him or however he got injured, but it is just time to take it off of him. I'm kind of getting bored of it, which I can't believe I'm saying, because Dom has been interesting the past couple of times he's been on TV. So I actually see them doing this maybe like next week or 2 weeks on Raw. I could see them doing this.
I agree with you, Toxic. You know what the sad part is? Dom's IC championship reign isn't boring or tiring because they aren't doing anything with it. It's because he hasn't been here, because he's been injured, and injuries are going to happen. And unfortunately, when you're injured, the title's not on TV, so it loses momentum. And unfortunately, I think that it's lost momentum, and it's not Dom's fault. I think you take the title off of him, give it to Penta, and you just let Dom run with the mega championship on AAA for a little while, defend it over there, build up his credibility there while he still shows up on Raw with the Judgment Day. But I think you are hitting the nail 100% on the head there, brother. I think it's time to take it off of him.
Unfortunately, I think that's why they're not going to, because we all want it. We all want the title off of him. But at the same time, how long did we say that when it comes to Tiffany Stratton? How long did we say it? We said that sucker for like...
You mean how long did you and Blood say it? I didn't say that.
The point still stands. We said it for like 2-3 months straight that Tiffany Stratton needed to lose that title. And they kept it on her for so goddamn, which makes me think us saying it's time for Dominic to lose it makes me think more and more that he's not going to lose it. But who else came out during this match? Chad Gable, aka the original El Grande Americano. So that's going to be a very interesting. He celebrated a little bit with Penta after the match. And then what happens? Ludwig Kaiser goes, you know what? I'm pissed at you. Screw it. And attacks Chad Gable from behind. So it's very clear that once again they are leading more and more and more to El Grande Americano versus the original El Grande Americano in a one-on-one match. So that's going to be very interesting to see how much this progresses instead of just, hey, look, I'm going to attack you now. Hopefully there's way more to it than just that.
Yeah, man. This was very interesting to me, not only because I'm a fan of El Grande Americano, Ludwig's version of El Grande Americano, and also Penta. So I was sold right off the bat. But the interesting thing about all of this, the crazy thing about this was the fact that Americano said that he wanted a shot at the Intercontinental Championship, which is Dom's title, and they're friends, supposedly, right? So it's like, all of a sudden, Americano wants to come after Dom. And it's something similar that's going on in AAA, too, where Americano entered in one of the tournaments to determine the number one contender for the AAA Mega Championship, which Dom didn't like that. Dom confronted Americano, was like, hey, why are you entering in this tournament? You're supposed to be my boy. That means you're coming after me. And Americano was just like, hey, it's nothing personal, whatever. Chad Gable cost Kaiser that opportunity in AAA. Chad Gable cost Americano that opportunity for Dom's belt again on Monday Night Raw. So 2 times for 2 different titles, the same thing happened. So I think they want us to, I guess, give us that idea, put that idea in our head that we're going to see Americano versus Dom somewhere down the line, and maybe Ludwig, the Americano Ludwig Kaiser, is going to take one of those belts off of Dom at some point because he's coming after both of them.
I mean, you could be right for sure. I definitely find it interesting that we've randomly turned Chad Americano face, and Ludwig is a heel as hell on main roster, but in AAA, he's the most over guy in the company. I like a lot of this stuff. I like how the inner workings of cross-promotional stuff is just really helping some of these stories a lot. Specifically, this one is a great example of how to tell a cross-promotional story, because you have so many different avenues that this can go, because you're celebrated somewhere, but you're hated somewhere else. Oh, you're more beloved here, but then you're more hated there. But then you also have, there's a lot of lore building going on here. I also really like you mentioning the fact that, yeah, Ludwig is supposed to be Dom's friend. Dom was counting on him and trying to convince the Judgment Day to trust him for weeks last year, you know? I really do want to also, before we move on here, give Ludwig Americano his props. This is the first time I've really heard him cut a full promo on Monday Night Raw in character like this, when the man has a very heavy German accent. He put on what I thought was an extremely convincing Latino fucking accent. Like he sounded really good, and his Spanish was very, very, very fucking convincing. So I just want to give Ludwig some props for his character work. This is why I loved Ludwig from the start. I thought even when he was with Imperium, he was just off the charts, like oozing charisma. He was my favorite guy in the group. I hated when they turned him Americano because I loved seeing him on the rise in the IC division. But seeing him like this, he's such a versatile player. And I think that he's going to go down when we look back in the next few years as one of the best character workers in WWE of modern era. I really do think he will. And I don't think he's getting enough credit from the fan base for just how much fucking work he's putting in, because he's killing it, if we're being honest. Up next, I want to keep this one brief, guys, because not a lot happened here. The AJ Lee segment. Now, I love my girl AJ. This is my goat. But when it came down to it, she came out and she cut a promo reminding everybody, look, this is my first singles title in over 10 years, or singles title match in over 10 years. I wanted to come back to see if I still had it, see if I could do it. You know, the last time I was here, the division looked very different. We were fighting over the Divas Championship when women weren't taken seriously in this industry. I come back and now we're with the greatest athletes of these generations. And, you know, Becky Lynch, you know, wants to act like, you know, like I don't belong here, like I don't have a place, but I'm here to prove that I can be a champion again. Then what I thought was a great segment at first then turned into my least favorite segment on the show. I like Becky. I do. I like that she gives it her all in her promos or character work. I do. But sometimes when I want something to be serious, when AJ is trying to be serious, it takes me out of it when Becky is hamming it up too much. Becky Lynch in this segment, in my opinion, overacted beyond the necessity, especially the part where she's in AJ's face and AJ is sitting there like, I'll put my hands by, I'll give you a free shot. I'll let you hit me. And Becky's just sitting there like, oh, I oughta. And she spends like a minute just like faking like she's going to go for it. Like she's going to leap on her. She's going to, ooh, you rascal. And I was just like, oh my fucking God, hit her or fucking don't. Why are you taking so long to end the segment? It drug on way too long at the end. And I thought Becky's, who's normally, pretty decent at character work here, I thought she hammed it up to the 10s, and she hammed it up too much to where it took me out of the actual segment. But other than that, I thought AJ Lee cut a great promo. But what'd you guys think of this?
I didn't really understand the story going into the match between these two at Elimination Chamber, but now I get it. AJ wants to see if she has what it takes to stand up to the current roster. Someone as a veteran standing up or standing with the current stars and seeing if she can go like the others can. Also, I did like whenever Becky got into the ring, because to me it sounded like, when everyone just like feared AJ because she was crazy. That's what I kind of got from her when Becky was in the ring. So I liked this segment, but it was just Becky's like either hit her or don't hit her. Be a bitch or don't be. I'm kidding. Yeah, not a lot of thoughts other than the ones that I just said. I liked it. I enjoyed it.
I was mid-ground on it. AJ, her stuff, absolutely great. The way she's like, go ahead, hit me. I'll even put my damn hands behind my back. The way she went super serious on that. It was perfect from her. My problem, like with Blood, was Becky Lynch. What the hell? Like, you're over here talking all this shit going, oh, you think I don't know this game that you're playing? When I get into that ring, you're just gonna hit me. Like, what the hell are you thinking? But then the entire time she was in the ring, it's like, oh, I'm gonna hit you. Like, no. Becky Lynch, stop acting like a fucking Muppet for 10 seconds and actually be serious about this. Because, Becky, I'm telling you right now, you turned this segment from a absolute 10 to a damn 5. That is what you're puppeteering of you becoming this massive Muppet did for me, at least, is the fact that it ruined it for me. It took it down so much.
You're on mute.
Thank you. Yeah, I think for once, I think we're all in the agreement here that Becky Lynch ruined this segment for me too. This segment was horrible, and it wasn't AJ Lee's fault. It just seems like Becky Lynch is going more for comedy in a situation where it should be serious because it's the Women's Intercontinental Championship. This is AJ Lee, and Becky was just, I don't know, trying to make it about herself and just trying to be funny. And I like comedy in wrestling. I love Los Americanos because they're goofy, but those guys are meant to be goofy. But if they were put like in a serious situation, I don't think, there's a time and a place for it. This wasn't it, man. Not it for me. I hated this. That's it. I got nothing.
All right, gentlemen, and now we're moving on to the main event. Sorry, I just had to. This was another elimination qualifier for the men's. This was Gunther versus Dominic Mysterio, who was solo dolo because JD and Finn are, well, they're having a couple's quarrel. And the amazing Javon Evans, who, in my opinion, was the MVP of this entire main event. This match was great. No one put more work in this match than Javon Evans. When I looked back at it and I thought back, Dom did the least in this match. Gunther and Javon did the most, back and forth offense. Dom just kept trying to sneak attack. But Javon was putting in work on both of them. Reversals after reversals, counters for counters. Javon Evans, whom is at this point just a mid-carder, not even an upper mid-carder. He's a mid-carder. Literally kicked out of Gunther's fucking powerbomb. A clothesline into a powerbomb. Kicked out. Okay? And then even got out of the sleeper hold twice. And I just thought this was great. When it came down to it, I was so shocked that Javon Evans, people, won this match. And not because I don't think he's great. I think he's phenomenal. I thought they would give it to Gunther like a foregone conclusion because Dom doesn't need it. He's holding 2 championships right now. Javon just got here, and I can't see them having Javon go over on a 2-time champ right now. And I certainly can't see him going over on Gunther, who just took out AJ Cena and Goldberg in reverse order. However, this match ended because right as Gunther was in semi-control, Dragon Lee jumped off the barricade and rocked this man Gunther's shit with the ringside bell, leaving it open for Javon Evans to go in there, get tripped on the ropes, hit with a 619, but before Dom could set up the frog splash, reversal into an OG cutter. 1, 2, 3. Javon Evans qualifies for the Elimination Chamber match. He has been on the main roster for less than 2 or so months. He is already in a high-profile PLE match to decide who is going to face the undisputed champion at WrestleMania. I thought this was awesome. I just wish the crowd gave it more. This match did get This Is Awesome chance, but their energy was at like a fucking 6 for all this match. Had this audience been the audience that last Friday Night SmackDown had, this match might have been a contender for one of the best main events of the year so far if they had given it that level of energy. And I do think this match deserved more fanfare than it got. Dom trying to, sneak the freaking ring bell, Gunther catching him, just amazing reversals out of nowhere. Dom actually playing basically, in my opinion, field goldy here, trying to block pins to basically just kind of sneak and get the win himself. Javon MVP in his way around 2 veterans at this point. I don't know if I can call Dom a veteran yet, but he's on his way to being there. Maybe another 2 years we'll call him a veteran. But I thought this is a great main event. I love that Javon is going to get his chance to shine, and I cannot wait to see what this kid does in the chamber. It's going to be fun. It's going to be high octane. And I also like that we're still building this mini feud of Dragon Lee and Gunther. So it also served a purpose there of pushing that story forward. And now Dom has a story to push forward where he can go back to the clubhouse next week and bitch and say, hey, where were you guys? Because you guys were fighting, I was all alone and had no help. So I think this served 3 fucking purposes. And this was a great main event for that. What did you guys think?
You have no idea how happy I am that Gunther did not win this shit. I literally was like, I swear to God, if they make Gunther win this, I will scream. Luckily, I didn't, though, because people were sleeping in my house. But I am so happy that Javon won. There's no words to describe where this kid that is older than me, but is still considered a kid, is going to go in the future. Because, I mean, that boy can go. I have no words, and I'm excited to see what he can do in the chamber, because I know he's going to pull off some crazy shit, like climbing up on the inside of the chamber and then just jumping on everyone. I can see him doing that. I'm excited for the chamber even more.
Javon Evans was made for the Elimination Chamber. Yes, the chamber itself is a very dangerous match where the cage in itself is absolutely in play. But you want to know what all of the biggest pops come from when it comes to in the chamber? When somebody goes bouncy. And who better to put inside of the Elimination Chamber than the young OG himself, Javon Evans. I am so happy this man is in the chamber because, Blood, remind me how old this kid is?
I believe he's about to be 22.
Yeah, he's like 21-ish.
Yeah.
Yeah. Currently 21 and will still be 21 by the time the chamber ends, which means at 21, he is already in an Elimination Chamber match with some massive main eventers, that being Damian Priest, Randy Orton.
Damian Priest isn't in the chamber yet. I think he's in next week's
I
qualifier.
thought he had one last week.
No, it's Randy, Cody, and Knight, and Javon.
Okay, yeah. LA Knight, again, massive main eventer. He's absolutely been in that top spot. Randy Orton, a 14-time World Heavyweight Champion. There we go there. And also, the last undisputed WWE Champion, the man that dethroned the 1,000-day reign of the Tribal Chief Roman Reigns in the American Nightmare, Cody Rhodes. This chamber alone is already stacked, and we're only at 4 men in there. So just being in the ring with these men in the chamber is going to do so much for Javon Evans. And the biggest thing that popped into my head is what a way to show that one match can change everything you do when it comes to a move. Because need I remind you that the last time Javon Evans went up against Randy Orton, there was a little botch involving that cutter. And ever since then, he changed the way he did it, and it's only looked better ever since.
I would like to note that I think at this point, I want to say that Javon Evans is the youngest ever competitor in Elimination Chamber history. I believe he is the youngest person to ever compete in a chamber, in a men's at least, at 21 years old. Because even when Randy got into his first chamber match, he was around 23, 24.
Yeah, it's possible. Randy was also, 21 when he won the World Heavyweight Championship or something like that?
At that time, I believe he was the youngest person to ever win the world title in history.
Holy shit, man. Yeah, I wasn't expecting this one. I think everyone predicted or expected Gunther to win it. It didn't really go that way. Javon Evans won it. I think this is also his first main event at Raw that he's won, Javon Evans, so that's cool. Especially after all the fucking talk that has been going around, I think just today with the comments that Kevin Nash made about him and the whole urban thing. I don't know if you guys caught that, but yeah, apparently Kevin Nash was like, "Oh, I don't really like Javon Evans," and don't quote me on this. I'm just paraphrasing. I just wish he was a little bit more urban, whatever that fucking means. But yeah, Javon Evans won. He's going to the chamber. It's crazy. And when it comes to Gunther and Dragon Lee, earlier today, I posted something on our socials about 4 different ways, 4 different options for Gunther at WrestleMania. And one of those options was Gunther versus Dragon Lee. And I'm starting to believe that now, especially because Dragon Lee cost Gunther this opportunity. That's going to be the start of a nice little feud between Dragon Lee and Gunther, which I'm all for because I'm a huge fan of Dragon Lee's, but I'm also with the fans in the arena with this one, man. I don't blame the fans of their low energy for this main event because for so many reasons, man. It was right after that horrible segment that we just talked about with Becky Lynch and AJ Lee. And also, this is like the fucking 10th millionth triple threat qualifying match that we've seen in the past couple of weeks. And we saw one earlier tonight with Asuka, Bayley, and Natty. We're going to see another one in the main event. So, and not only that, like after the Becky Lynch and AJ Lee segment, the pacing of the show fucking slowed down completely. I don't know if you guys remember this, but after that, there was like commercials and backstage segments and just a lot of, I think we had like an interview too. So it took a while that we had to sit through a bunch of shit to get to the main event. At that point, it's just like, all right, let's just get to it, And then the fans started chanting, "We want tables," which is, to me, that's not a good sign. When the fans don't care about who's actually in the ring and who's winning, they just want to see tables. That's not a good sign, at least not to me. But it was worth the wait. We had an unexpected finish. Javon Evans got the win. Everyone loves Javon Evans, so that got a nice little pop. But yeah, this main event did kind of drag for me too, if I'm being.
All right. Well, I would also like to say that at least in the finish, they did protect Gunther by having him get taken out by someone who wasn't in the match. So even though you can say he has a loss on his record because, they've tried to protect him from losses, at least you can say that this one wasn't because he got pinned. But it's also shocking because we get to say Javon pinned a current 2-belt title holding fucking champion right now. So Javon has a pin over not only the Intercontinental Champion, but also the Mega Champion. And I could see him calling a shot perhaps to try to say, hey, I won a number one contendership match against Dominic Mysterio. I pinned him. And I would love to see that one-on-one match down the road, maybe even at WrestleMania for Javon. Let's get that kid in there. First year on the main roster. I'm okay with it. But, guys, that is going to wrap it up.
Lucky.
You what?
Javon got lucky. Dom has been out on injury. This is his first match back. He's a little rusty. Javon got lucky.
I don't know if I could call properly timing a reversal into a finisher lucky. That's called skill, homie. But when it comes down to it, he didn't slip on a banana peel and then fall onto him for the 1, 2, 3. When it comes down to it, guys, that's going to wrap it up for this episode of Snug Wrestling. That is the February 16th, 2026 edition of Raw. Review in the books. Thanks for kicking it with us like always. We appreciate every single one of you for tuning in. And don't forget, we're live every Monday, Wednesday, and Friday after Raw, NXT, and SmackDown go off the air, respectively, on YouTube Live, Twitter, or X, whatever you want to call it, and Facebook Live for post-show reviews. And for bonus content, we do reaction content during the weekly WWE broadcasts on all of our socials for segment to segment. Of course, then hang out with us every Thursday night at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, and 8 o'clock Central for our TikTok live one-on-ones where myself, Mr. Blood, and the head, the face of Snug Wrestling, Edgar, do our weekly one-on-ones where we dive into random and relevant wrestling topics for 1 hour, where we'll also answer your fan questions live. And don't forget, you can always support us on all of our social media platforms, as well as on Apple and Spotify if you miss our episodes live to catch up on the episodes. Then support us on tpublic.com/snug wrestling, where you can pick up your podcast merchandise. We got over 100 designs across dozens of different types of merch and products. So head on over to tpublic.com/snug wrestling and check that out. The links are in all the bio descriptions. Then mark your calendars, guys, for February 25th next week on Wednesday, where we will be doing our predictions for 2026's Elimination Chamber at 9 p.m. Eastern, 6 p.m. Pacific, 8 o'clock Central on YouTube, Facebook, and Twitter, or X Live, as well as on Apple and Spotify. So until next time, guys, that was one time for the one time. Stay safe, stay savage, stay snug. Boys, I said that was what?
4 letters.
4 letters.
One word.
One word.